Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're all keeping well. And welcome back to my channel. And today I'm going to be giving my review for episode 8 of She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. And this episode was brilliant. Not a bad word to say about it. Absolutely nope. Not a bad word to say about it. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'll just go straight into my review for it. As always, I'm going to be talking about spoilers, so if you haven't seen the episode, just warning. But first, let me say that finally the wait is over. The character we've all been waiting for to appear finally appeared in the episode. Brilliant introduction. Loved it. So, let's get stuck in. Basically, we start off the episode with uh, two guys obviously robbing a superstore or something. They're basically carrying like a TV out to their van, and basically they get jumped by this guy in a costume. The man we've all been waiting for, Mr. Leapfrog. I'm joking. No, but basically, yeah, so we get our introduction to Leapfrog, who was the character we seen in the trailers leading up to the show. So we've got Mr. Leapfrog in his green frog costume, and basically, this guy couldn't have made a worse introduction to these two thieves if he tried. Uh, he tries to kick one of them, misses the kick, falls on his arse. Uh, he tries to do uh, one of those swing leaps into a jump, and basically lands back on his arse, but he manages to hit one of the guys in the foot with his heel, which he calls heel stomp. And they basically just kick the crap out of him, so he uh, activates his jet power, which is basically just like fireworks attached to his boots, and he blazes off across I suppose, the car park. Sorry, I meant to add. Sorry, he tries to do a big leap, uh, and he basically the fireworks run out of fuel, or whatever, there were rockets, and he just falls from a high distance flat on his face, and then his suit catches fire due to the rockets. So basically, he's explaining all this to Jennifer because he wants to claim for damages to his suit and to his body. So basically, Jennifer's saying, right, okay, fair enough. You've come to us. Uh, I can take your case, no problem. Basically, who is the person you want to claim against, and it's then revealed then that he wants to claim damages against the tailor who makes all the superhero suits for others, including Jennifer. So obviously she has a problem because she doesn't want to take her suit tailor to court. So basically, she goes to her boss, and as always, the boss doesn't want to hear her problems or her issues. So he says, "Look, uh, Leapfrog, his father is a big client, his family's rich, and the father is a big client of the firm. So if you don't want to take this case, then maybe you can talk to Jacobson, the tailor, and try and work something out. So Jennifer goes to the tailor, who's making a dress for her to attend her award ceremony for winning uh, best female lawyer. And as soon as she mentions about the lawsuit, and she says, I don't want to take you to court, so maybe could you maybe take some responsibility for the damages. And he basically tears into her, and rips her gala dress that he was working on to pieces, and says, she's no longer his client, tells her to get out. um he calls her an old buffalo, an old worn buffalo. uh uh Says, that never make any more suits or anything for her. So uh she says, I'll see you in court. um so basically, then the next scene is they're in court, and uh Leapfrog is there. His legs are all bandaged from the burdens from the flames, and the tailor Jacobson is there with nobody representing him. So it's the same. I think it's the same. No, it's a different judge, and the judge is basically asking Jacobson, you're by yourself. Are you going to represent yourself, or where is your lawyer? And uh, the tailor says, maybe he's running late, and the next minute the doors open and it's Matt Murdock. So he walks in, and Jennifer basically breaks the fourth wall, saying, who the hell's this guy? And so he enters himself, Matt Murdock, lawyer from Hell's Kitchen, and obviously he's represented Jacobson because Jacobson makes suits for him, as we've seen with the tease of the new Daredevil helmet and the previous episode. And so basically, he and Jennifer go back and forth on legal matters uh, of the case. And Jennifer wants to go into detail on Jacobson's affairs in regards to any other suits that may have malfunctions, and based on any files they have. And Murdoch basically says, that is a breach of thing, as he says, as you may remember. He says to the judge, you may remember the Sokovia Accords were repealed. So that's an interesting fact, that the Sokovia Accords that were introduced in Captain America Civil War, they have now been repealed. So looks like Cap was right all along. Tony would not be happy. But so they're going back and forward, and then Leapfrog is getting worked up, and he basically shouts out, because the judge is basically saying that he's agreeing with Matt Murdock, obviously. But Leapfrog is getting worked up, and worried that this means he's not going to win and not get any damages costs. So he holds up his suit and saying, who's going to pay for this? Who's going to fix this burnt suit? And you see Murdoch sort of sniffing and asking Leapfrog, what type of fuel did you use in the jet rockets? And he says, what was it he said? It was was jet fuel, I think he said he used, and the tailor Jacobson told him that he had instructed Leapfrog not to use that type of fuel uh, with that costume. So the judge rules in favor of Jacobson and Murdoch, and the case is thrown out. And Jennifer tries to apologize to Jacobson and ask, will he be her tailor again? He basically teased her for a moment and then says no and storms out. And so basically, then Jennifer's at the local bar, she's getting a drink, and the bartender sends down uh, an appletini for her and says it's from the guy at the other side of the bar who is Matt Murdock. So he comes and joins her, and they get talking, and uh, she goes into detail, saying that she's checked out his profile and his own agency and everything. So they're talking, and then Murdoch gets an update on his phone. At the same time, Jennifer gets a message from the creepy stalker from a previous episode. If you remember, when she went on the sort of the dating profile, there was a guy that was sort of talking down to her, referring to her as a specimen, and saying that that he would love to study her and everything. So because he's still a client of the lawyer firm, he messaged Jennifer saying he needs help, he needs to meet her right away. So they leave the bar to go on their separate adventures. Jennifer meets with the guy who is showing her pictures of he was in Wakanda and he won an auction for a Wakandan spear. So basically, Jennifer's asking, what do you need to talk about? And he basically says that it was just a ruse to get her to meet him, and that he feels the tension between them, and so she basically just shoves the table against him and tells him to get lost, and tells she's going to bill him for the full hour, even though she was only there for a few minutes. But as she's leaving, then she gets back to her place and she gets a phone call from Leapfrog to say that he's being attacked, and he tells her that he's close to his hideout called the Lily Pad. So she says she'll meet him, but then she remembers that she's going as Jennifer, but then she remembers that Murdoch had said to her in the bar, maybe in the courtroom you can help people as Jennifer, but outside the courtroom you can help people as She-Hulk when the law fails them. So she basically goes in and puts on her super suit that Jacobson had made for her, and the next thing we see then is that Leapfrog is driving his car and somebody's on top of the roof trying to grab him, and She-Hulk comes flying from the air and lands like sort of a smash into the ground, and the car stops and the person on top goes flying off the car onto the ground, and we find out it's Daredevil in his upgraded suit with the gold and red. So they get into an altercation of Daredevil saying to She-Hulk, you should stay out of this, get out of my way. Jennifer's telling Leapfrog to get out of there, and he says This is his catchphrase. He says, "Gotta ribbit and rip it." So he speeds off, and uh, then we get a brief face off between She Hulk and Daredevil. So they're fighting back and forward. He's dodging her moves, and she's trying to throw him around, and then he uh, leaps off the balcony and tries to get back to Leapfrog's car, but then Jennifer shows up again and she does the uh, thunderclap that she attempted in the first episode, but Bruce told her, you have to really put power into it, so that knocks Daredevil flying into another car, and Leapfrog escapes then, and She-Hulk basically grabs Daredevil, takes off the mask, and obviously find out that's Matt Murdock, and she goes in on him then saying, have you been pretending to be a blind man? Because that is this thing, and he says, no, I am blind, it's just I have special abilities which allow me to see, and I'm really good at hearing, which was a callback to, I think, in Spider-Man No Way Home, where he said, I've got good hearing. So She-Hulk basically, says, why are you attacking my client? And he reveals then that Leapfrog kidnapped the tailor and was holding him hostage, so Daredevil's trying to follow him back to his hideout. So Jennifer basically says, well, why didn't you say that to start off with? So she goes off with Daredevil to the lily pad, Leapfrog's hideout, and basically then we find that he has the tailor tied, or not tied to a chair, but he's tied to a chair, but he's got like a sewing machine around him and all this material, and Leapfrog saying, I want you to make me a new suit, I want it to be bulletproof, I want it to be uh, accessible to wear and tear, and especially not to catch on fire and everything. And so they're being watched by Jennifer, and she says, let's just smash in and rescue him. But you see Daredevil's like sort of listening. He says no. There's too many guys with weapons. There's like says there's like 20 on the first floor and so many on the bottom floor and thing. And she says, how do you know all this? And he says, I can hear their heartbeats. And she doesn't believe it. He says, well, I can hear your heartbeat too. And her heartbeat's getting really fast as she stares at him, so you can tell that there's sort of a spark as they're together. And so then they're arguing basically over what's the best approach. He wants to go in stealthily, she wants to go in, smash and take everybody out quickly, get the tailor out. But Murdoch's basically saying to her, this is your first time, you're an amateur, I'm professional, I know what I'm doing. So he says, just follow my plan. So he leaps off the building and basically goes into Daredevil style, takes out one guy silently, has the rest of the guys spooked, they're looking around, grouped together, and he takes out the rest of them. They're called tadpoles, so basically they are henchmen for Leapfrog, so he calls them tadpoles. So he can hear on the radio, he's Leapfrog saying, Tadpole 5, what's happening? And he says, we need more reinforcements. So another group of guys show up behind uh, Daredevil, and he's about to uh, go against them, but then She-Hulk crashes down from the ceiling and takes them out. So she says, She-Hulk smash. And he's basically says, my plan works too. So basically, then the both of them break into the main room and take out all the guys. Leapfrogs asking Jennifer, why are you helping him? You're supposed to be my lawyer. And she says, I'm trying to keep you from committing more crimes because you're in enough trouble. And she rescues Jacobson, and he thanks her, and Leapfrog basically tries to escape, but he jumps out the window, and you can basically hear him land on the ground screaming. So he's getting taken away in an ambulance, while the police are basically have him cuffed to the stretcher so he can't get away, even though I think he's broke his leg. And basically then you see Daredevil sitting on the roof, and Jennifer joins him, and she says, do you want to give a statement to the police? And he says, I'm not really the type of person to stick around after a fight. So they're talking more, and you can see, again, she's asking, so when do you have to go back to New York? And he says, sometime tomorrow. And he's asking, maybe next time I'm in the city, I can take you for dinner. And she says, well, why do we have to wait so long? So basically, the next scene is they're back at her apartment, and they end up sleeping together. And then the next morning, you basically see Daredevil in full suit, but carrying his shoes. He's in bare feet, and he's doing the walk of shame. And the next morning, as somebody's walking their dog, he's just walking with his head like out there. So basically, you think that's basically going to be close of the episode, because Jennifer comes, breaks the fourth wall, and says, you guys still. It's a bit like Ferris Bueller. She says, you guys still here? The episode should be over. There's nothing more to do. That was a good conclusion. But then Nikki arrives, and says, I just seen some guy in a devil suit doing a walk of shame, and says, we got to get you prepared and dressed for your gala. So again, Jennifer talks to the breaks the fourth wall and says, I didn't think we were doing that this episode. This episode was pretty much done. Unless it's the next episode, the finale. Are we squeezing everything into this episode so we can have more for the finale? So that's basically it. And Nikki does like a sort of a Wolverine tease. She has like all her makeup brushes, and she does like the Wolverine blades with the brushes, and says, let's get to work. So her and Jennifer attend the awards gala, and her family's there. They're talking. Her bosses are talking with the creepy stalker guy. He's waving to Jen. Jen just feels sick. So she says, right, let's go find our table. So they're talking, and then they announce the award for best female lawyer, and they call Jennifer's name, but they also call several other female lawyers' names up, and they all stand up, including I can't remember her first name, but Book, who was the lawyer who worked with Nikki with Mr. Immortal, so they all get called up. So it's almost in a way like sort of like a beauty pageant thing. He goes to each lawyer and says, how do you feel about being awarded for best female lawyer? And each one says, I would like to uh, say this, and I would like to think. And Book says, feels very, tiring to be constantly asked, what it's like being a female lawyer. And then Jennifer basically uh, she takes a microphone and she says, I like to take this time to thank my parents and my friends, and uh, I like to thank those who back me, who believe me. But then uh, her thing speech is interrupted with it's like a symbol of Hulk King. It's like a Hulk with a crown on his head is on the screen behind her, and this dub voice comes on, says, do you want to know uh, the truth about She-Hulk? And she says, well, my identity's not really secret, so there's nothing really thing. But then the forum site, which is, I have it written down, what do you call it? Because it is actually meant to be a special name. Intelligentsia, right? So apparently that is something that was in the Marvel comics. So it's called Intelligentsia. So basically, all the forum blogs are piling up on the screen, all like sort of like screenshots, and then we get video footage from Josh of them basically. He obviously must have put a video in her bedroom from the night they slept together. So basically, She-Hulk is looking around, and her family's shocked. Her boss is looking at her sort of shocked, and you can see the rage building in her. And Book, the lawyers, stand next to her, and she says, don't do it, Jennifer. But it's basically just goes on a rage, smashes the screen, the ceiling starts falling, people are fleeing out of the room, there's like emergency lights flashing red, and you can just, she's she's like in real sort of in a way sort of seeing red. People are saying, try and calm down, but she's sort of she's too much anger, and she spots some guys like with masks taking video of her and tries to chase them, and she basically gets stopped then by guys. They've all have like guns aimed at her, telling her to stay still, don't move. So these guys are, these guys are Department of Damage Control. So I don't know, who are they? They come, maybe they're part of the same ones that were always chasing Bruce, but they have sort of all guns with laser pointers aimed at her. And Nikki is with Jennifer's parents. She's trying to tell her, just calm down, relax, and that's basically where it ends then, where she puts her hands up. So in a way then they've sort of the ones who are against her basically got their wish, is that they've exposed sort of Jennifer's Hulk side as being in sort of a way that Bruce used to be, and what Abomination used to be, is that when she gets into a rage, she destroys things. So it's a very interesting episode, and it'll be interesting to see what happens with the finale. Um, I don't know if we're gonna see any more Daredevil. Like it was good to see him. She said comments whenever she first met him in the Daredevil suit. Uh, she says that his suit looks like ketchup and mustard splashed together. So I don't know where that was like sort of a thing about the new suit, because I thought he suited the normal red suit, but obviously that is from the comics with the gold and red mixed together. But I don't know if we're going to see any more him. Um, Obviously, if the if those agents were there to maybe arrest her, maybe my theory could be maybe if she's arrested and taken away, could you maybe see the likes of Abomination and the other characters from the previous episode? Could they maybe try to bust her out? Or if maybe obviously Bruce, I don't think Bruce will be there because he's basically been flown off to another planet. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Obviously, we're maybe hopefully get a reveal of who the Hulk King is, who is the person. Obviously, they have her blood now. She did tease that point whenever she was saying about, is the next episode the finale. She says, is there going to be an appearance of another Hulk? Is there going to be a Red Hulk? So I like that she's teasing that, because obviously Red Hulk is part of the Thunderbolts. So it's good that they're dropping these little teases back and forward. So maybe Wong could show up, and Madison. Can Madison and Wongers show up maybe to get her out, open the doorway to help her escape if she is arrested? I mean, it did feel the way that the episode ended that she was going to be, arrested or taken captive, because they were surrounding her. But we'll have to see. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Like I said, enjoyed the episode. I really liked Leapfrog. I thought his character was funny. Basically, it's basically just you think it's somebody that actually does have special powers, but it's just uh, it's just in a frog costume. But everything he did, he just completely messed it up. Ended up burning his legs, and then in the end, he ended up jumping out the window and possibly breaking his legs. And Daredevil, it was a good introduction to him with Charlie Cox. You know, we got to see. Obviously, we didn't see Daredevil in Spider-Man, but we got to see him in his Daredevil suit, kicking ass as he always does. I was wondering if there was going to be any reference to Spider-Man No Way Home, but I suppose if that spell has happened now that the Doctor Strange did, where nobody remembers Peter, I'm wondering then, is that wiped from Murdoch's mind as well, that he took the case to help Peter and clear his name. So I'm wondering then, maybe was that maybe why there was no reference, or maybe not. But anyway, so that was episode 8, and that basically leads us into the finale. So it'll be Interested to see what we're going to get for the final episode. You know, is it going to be a one-off episode? Are they going to tease us with season 2? Is it going to leave us in a cliffhanger to lead into a movie or to lead into another series? I still think that uh, it's leading into the reveal of the leader, and then obviously then he'll be the villain in Captain America New World Order. So I think that possibly it'll be revealed that he is the villain who wanted Hulk blood, and he's going to make his army of Hulks, and then we'll basically then find out more about that in the Captain America movie. But that's about it, really. So it was an interesting episode. I've enjoyed the series so far. Like I said, some episodes were a bit uh, not dragging, but they were just really there for filler. There was no really advancement in the plot. But, you know, I haven't had anything really bad to say about any episode. I've enjoyed it. I haven't really sat and watched the episode and thought, well, that was boring. You know, each episode in its own way has had, uh, you know, little bits just to keep you amused and keep you thinking. So hopefully then the finale will get more of the same as we got in this episode. Maybe we'll get more action. If She-Hulk has been captured or, you know, arrested, then maybe Daredevil will stick around to try and help her out as well. So we'll just have to see. But anyway, like the video and drop a comment below what you thought of this episode if you watched it, and what you thought of the series so far, and what you're expecting from the finale. Is there any characters you expect to make a return? And, you know, as I said, I think it's going to be the leader's going to be revealed, but is there anyone who you feel could be the boss other than the leader? Or could it be... I don't think it could be the Kingpin. I know he appeared in Hawkeye, but I think he's going to be more revolved around Daredevil and sort of Hawkeye, so I don't think it's going to be involving him and She-Hulk as well. But anyway, let me know your thoughts and subscribe to the channel in the bottom right corner. That'd be very much appreciated, and I will see you for the review of She-Hulk finale. Take care. I'll see you again.